Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let me introduce myself. But before that, am I audible? Am I visible? Good evening. Yes. Let's wait for one more minute before others join in. Good evening, dear students. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vijay Kumar Shankarappa. I have been teaching history from the last 18 years, and it's a privilege and an honor to be on this platform. Um, Before I begin discussing this question paper, this paper was held on the 28th of last month, January 28th, and today is a discussion of this particular paper. Before I begin, I would like to generally give you a brief overview of art and culture as such, what should be the approach of the students regarding history and art and culture. Now, um, I would want you people to, first of all, approach Ancient India, read Ancient India, R.S. Sharma, Ancient India by R.S. Sharma. And then, of course, once you finish R.S. Sharma, you read the Medieval India portion, Medieval India by Satish Chandra. Now, these two books, R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra, will give you a very good base. It will give you an idea as regards the flow of history from ancient to medieval times. And once you finish ancient and medieval, you will understand art and culture better. Now, if you don't want to read R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra, you can read one more book, alternative book, that is Poonam Dalal Diya. Poonam Dalal Dahiya. So this is one book which covers both ancient and medieval. This is called Ancient and Medieval Indian History. So what Poonam has done is she has covered a lot of topics and she has drawn sources from she has collected information from various sources and she has beautifully organized it in one book. So either you read R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra, or if you have dearth of time to read both the books, then I would suggest Poonam Dalal Dahiya's book will solve the problem for you. Once you finish ancient and medieval, then I would suggest you go through Nitin Singhania's book, Indian Art and Culture by Nitin Singhania. So this is a beautiful book, and please buy the latest edition because new chapters have been added by Mr. Nitin Singhania. Now, apart from these books, I would suggest referring to Indian Express newspaper on a daily basis. The team of Indian Express is supplementing your efforts. We have something called UPSC Essentials there in the Indian Express newspaper, and daily under various topics like culture, polity, economy, current affairs, sports. A lot of information is collected and then collated and organized by the team of Indian Express. And they also have quiz, both MCQ type as well as subjective questions are asked, and it will be a practice for the students. So this is how I would like to begin this session of mine today. So that will give you the base, and then you do a thorough study of ancient, medieval, and art and culture, and you'll be better able to understand. And generally, for current affairs, once you read Indian Express, topics like painting, music, dance, tribes, tribal cultures, or let us say the Prime Minister Mr. Modi gave a present to some dignitary. He had gone abroad, or that dignitary had come to India, and the Prime Minister has this habit of presenting some mementos to these dignitaries. So that also becomes relevant because it is in the news. So that's the way you approach current affairs. There are certain static topics which will never change, like architecture, art, painting, music, dance, literature. But then there are also dynamic aspects which are covered in the current affairs newspapers, in the newspapers, and of course in our booklet on current affairs. So, having said this, let me begin today's session as regards the paper discussion. So, the first question, I have picked up a few questions which I found it important and relevant for the examination. Others are of factual in nature, and by reading the explanation given by Byju's, you should be able to understand them. Now, the first question is, consider the following pairs: folk paintings and communities. Nohadora, Gond, Pithora, Bhil, and Kawad, Jangid Brahmins. How many of the above pairs are matched correctly? So, here this topic is about folk paintings and the communities which practice them. Nohadora is a folk painting practiced by the Gond tribes. Gonds, as you know, live in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Central India, parts of Maharashtra, Gujarat, etc. And the Gond women, uh, they live in clay houses and they whitewash their houses. They paint their houses, clay houses, in white color, and they make delicate lines. That is outlines of the paintings, and that outline, which is very beautiful, is called Nohadora. So this particular match is correct. Nohadora and Gond. Pithora paintings are practiced by the Bhils, Bhil tribe. So Pithora paint, it's a ritual painting performed practiced by the Bhil tribes. So that is also correct. Pithora paint, Bhil, and then Kawad. Kawad is basically a mobile storytelling device, um, generally practiced by the Jangid Brahmins of Rajasthan. So there's a particular community called Bassi, or rather, there's an area called Bassi in Rajasthan, and they have they have this mobile sort of a device, which is also a temporary temple. And these mobile devices contain paintings. So it is practiced by the Jangid Brahmins, who also have the surname Sutar. So it is a combination of carpentry. It's a combination of carpentry, and of course, you have painting, combination of carpentry, painting, and there is a storyteller, a narrator, or a storyteller. So this is again from Rajasthan. Jangid Brahmins practice this type of painting. So how many pairs are correctly matched? All the three are correctly matched. Right? That's the answer for the first question. So let us go to the second question. Consider the following statements about the Gahadwar kingdom. So Gahadwar or Gahadwalas, Gahadwar, also called the Gahadwalas, are also called the Rathors. So the Gahadwalas or Rathors had Kannauj as their capital. So it extended from Monga to Bihar, in Bihar to Delhi. So this is correct. Govinda Chandra and Jai Chandra were the two famous rulers. Of course, there was another called Chandradeva, who imposed a tax called Turushka Danda. Turushka Danda. So this was a tax imposed by Chandradeva, the Gahadwala king. So what was this tax called Turushka Danda? This was a tax imposed on the residents of his kingdom for various reasons. It could be either of these three. So you had frequent Muslim attacks in medieval times, from the time of Ghori onwards. Khalji came, he plundered and looted temples and went back. And 150 years after the death of Khalji, the 150 years after the death of Mahmud Ghazni, we have Mahmud Ghori coming into the country. And so from then onwards, we had regular attacks. And kingdoms were very small. They could not afford to fight off the enemy. So they required money to fight wars, to pay their soldiers and officers' salaries, buy weapons, buy horses, etc. So Turushka Danda was a tax imposed by this king of the Gahadwalas called Chandradeva, wherein it could be a tax to buy off the enemy. So tax is collected from the people, and the invader is given away the certain amount of money, so that he doesn't engage in loot and plunder. That could be one of the reasons. Second reason is to defray the expenses of war, to meet the cost of the war. And the third is probably it was a tax imposed on the resident Muslims of that kingdom. So it could be any of these three taxes which was imposed by Chandradeva, one of the Gahadwala kings. The other important king was Govinda Chandra. In fact, he was the greatest of the Gahadwalas, Govinda Chandra. And Govinda Chandra had a minister called Lakshmidhara, who wrote a book called Kalpadruma, or also called Kritya Kalpataru. This one contemporary law, Kalpadruma or Kritya Kalpataru. And Jayachandra, so he was another famous ruler of this particular dynasty. So this is correct. Kanauj and Banaras were the two capitals. So this is also correct. So how many statements given above are correct? So all the three are correct. Okay, all the three statements are correct. Now let us go to the next question. Are you able to hear me, all of you? Hello, am I audible? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So let us go to the next question. Consider the following genres in Sangam literature. So first of all, you need to know what is Sangam literature briefly. We have something called the Sangam age. Sangam age, roughly from the 3rd century BC to the 3rd century AD, a period of 600 years. Now, what was the Sangam age? What is Sangam first of all? In geography, Sangam is a meeting of two or more rivers, confluence of rivers. But in history, particularly in the context of South Indian history, Sangam refers to an academy or a parliament of letters, an academy which met at Madurai under the auspices of the Pandyan king. So in the Pandyan court, the capital of the Pandyas was Madurai. So in the court of the Pandyas, there was a academy of scholars, poets, literators, novelists, etc. And the body of literature brought out by this academy of scholars in the Pandyan court is called as Sangam literature. Now, there were three Tamil kingdoms during this period, 300 BC to 300 AD in the deep south. So who were these three Tamil kingdoms? The Cholas, the Cheras, and the Pandyas. Cholas, Cheras, and the Pandyas. And the main theme of the Sangam literature is wars between these three Tamil kingdoms, Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. But they also give us information. The Sangam literature also gives us information about the political, social, economic, and religious life in the deep south. So what was the polity, society, economy, and religion in each of these three Tamil kingdoms? The Sangam literature is broadly divided into two categories, Agam and Puram. Agam and Puram. So what is this Agam? Agam deals with love, everything to do with emotions, Agam. And Puram deals with war. So basically, it is divided into Agam and Puram. Now let us look at the choices. Agam deals with outer life such as war and administration. That is not correct. Agam is basically love, as I told you. And Puram deals with the inner life of the people such as love and marriage. So the first two statements are wrong. Tinai indicates landscape themes like hills, forests, coasts, and deserts. Now let us come to this part, the third choice. We have a book. So you see Sangam literature is divided into 5 categories. We have early books, early works. Then we have the 10 idylls, Ettuttogai. Then, eight idylls called Ettuttogai. Then the 10 idylls called Pattapat, 18 minor works called Padinankil Kanaku, and 5 epics. Mahabharata, Ramayana were written in North India. The Tamils had their own epics like Shilapadigaram, Mani Megalai, etc., Kundalakeshi, Valayapati, etc. So, we have a book called Tolkappiyam, Tolkappiyam, written by Tolkappiyar. This is the earliest book on Tamil grammar. So, this is a book on grammar. And in this book, the Sangam area is divided into 5 zones or Tinai. 5 zones. Okay? 5 zones, geographical areas rather. And along with that, the occupation of the people is mentioned. What type of occupation is engaged in by the people of that particular area, and what are the god or gods worshipped by the people of that particular area. So there are a few zones. Like for example, we have Mullai. Mullai is jungle land. Mullai jungle. Nedal or Natal or coast. Palai, dry area. Palai, dry land. Marudam or Marutam, cultivated plains, etc. So, Tinai is the landscape themes like hills, forests, coasts, and deserts. That is correct. So, the third choice is correct. How many of the above statements are correct? They're asking. So, look at the tag which is there in the question. Sometimes it is mentioned as incorrect. They're asking you incorrect choices, and sometimes correct choices. So, underline the keyword, and then we go back. How many statements are correct? Only one is correct. Yeah, all clear? Hello, all of you. I hope the speed is fine. Right. Thank you. So let's jump to the next question. With reference to the history of ancient India, consider the following statements. First statement says, reference to the conflict between Pushyamitra and Yagnasena is given in Malavika Agnimitra. So here, first of all, you need to know which dynasty this particular statement is talking about. Now, so we have the Sungas. The Sunga dynasty. We'll talk about this is the Sunga dynasty. So you see, we have the Mauryas ruling from 321 to 184 BC. That was the period of the Mauryas. And you know who are the greatest of the Mauryas? Great Mauryas: Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka. So these 3 Mauryas ruled for 90 years. Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashoka ruled for 90 years. And after Ashoka, we had weak successors. The Mauryas, as you know, ruled from parts of Afghanistan to the river Kaveri. And you require a very capable man to run a huge empire like that of the Mauryas. And unfortunately, after Ashoka, we had weak successors. And the later Mauryas, as they are called, ruled for only 47 years. So the Mauryas totally ruled for only 137 years. The last Mauryan king was a person called Brihadratha. Brihadratha. This Brihadratha was unpopular and he was killed by his own commander called Pushyamitra Sunga. Pushyamitra Sunga, who established the Sunga dynasty. Right? So that's how the Sungas come to power. Now, who are the important kings? Of course, the founder, Pushyamitra Sunga. He was the founder. He was succeeded by his son, Agnimitra. Agnimitra. Now, let us go back to the statements here. Reference to the conflict between Pushyamitra and Yagnasena is given in Malavika Agnimitra. Now, we have a poet of the Gupta period called Kalidasa. Kalidas was in the court of the Gupta king, Chandragupta II Vikramaditya. So, Kalidasa wrote a number of dramas. The most famous is, of course, Abhignana Shakuntalam. But apart from Abhignana Shakuntalam, he also wrote Malavika Agnimitram. So Malavika Agnimitra, this is the love story of Malavika and Prince Agnimitra and their eventual marriage. Right? So the hero of Malavika Agnimitra drama is the son of the founder of the Sunga dynasty, Agnimitra. So here, a reference to the conflict between Pushyamitra and Yagnasena is given in Malavika Agnimitra. So here, please understand, the founder Pushyamitra Sunga divided the empire into various provinces, and one of the province was kept under his son Agnimitra. So Agnimitra was made the governor of Vidisha. Vidisha, in fact, was the capital of the Sungas, and Vidisha is in Madhya Pradesh. And Yagnasena was the governor of Vidarbha. Vidarbha is present day eastern Maharashtra. Right? So Malavikna Agnimitra talks about the conflict between Pushyamitra Sunga and Yagnasena, and in this particular conflict, Pushyamitra Sunga defeated Yagnasena. So that is mentioned in Malavika Agnimitra, that is correct. The base Naga pillar inscription indicated the presence of Greek ambassadors in the Shunga Empire. Now, let me talk about this particular. What is this base Naga pillar inscription? Now, we have an inscription found at Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh. Vidisha, and this is also called Base Nagar. This is in Madhya Pradesh. And this area was ruled by the Sungas. Vidisha was their capital, as I told you. Now, we are told through this Base Nagar pillar inscription, we come to know that when Kasiputra Bhagabhadra, so this was the name of a king ruling the Sunga kingdom. He was the sixth king of the Sungas, Kasiputra Bhagabhadra. So when he was the king of the Sungas, we have an ambassador called Heliodorus coming to his court. So he was a Greek ambassador. He was an ambassador. And who sent this ambassador to the court of Kasiputra Bhagabhadra? His king, Heliodorus' king, called Antialcidas. Antialcidas, an Indo-Greek king, sends Heliodorus to the court of Kasiputra Bhagabhadra. Once Heliodorus comes to the court of Kasiputra Bhagabhadra, when he visits the kingdom, he was enamored by the popularity of Krishna worship going on in that kingdom of the Sungas. And worship of Krishna is called Bhagavatism. Worship of Krishna is called Bhagavatism. So Heliodorus was so much impressed with the phenomena of Krishna and the worship of Krishna in the Sunga kingdom, converted himself to a worshipper of Krishna. In other words, he became a Bhagavata. Worshipper of Krishna, and he installed one pillar inscription, okay, with a Garuda on top. Imagine this is the Garuda. This is the Garuda on top. He installed this pillar inscription at Vidisha or Base Nagar in Madhya Pradesh. Unfortunately, that Garuda has fallen off because it is made of bricks. It has fallen off, but the pillar remains. So this statement, the Base Nagar pillar inscription, indicated the presence of Greek ambassadors in the Shunga Empire is very much correct. And the third choice, Sungas were replaced by Kanvas in the north and Shatavahanas in the south. That is also correct. As you know, we have the Shungas and the Kanvas who succeeded the Mauryas in the north, and the Shatavahanas or the Andhras as they are called, succeeded the Mauryas in the south of the country. So, how many statements are correct? So, all the three are correct. Yeah? Okay, yellow, I'll write in yellow. Okay, fine. Now, Ghulam Mustafa, see, I would say it is not a tough question. if you read history broadly, when you're reading history for the first time, that you're preparing for a big exam, a tough exam like UPSC, history is one of the core subjects. History, economy, polity, geography. HEPG. History, economy, polity, geography are the core subjects, right? Which is relevant for both prelims and mains. An interview also, right? And an essay, you have a compulsory essay paper. So this will help you. The knowledge of these subjects will help you. So you do a broad reading. That's why we suggest R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra. You thoroughly read these two books and then read Nitin Singhania. You go in a sequential order and then you will not have any trouble. Once you understand the sequence of events, right? So that is the answer. We'll come to the next question. We'll go to the next question. Ayush, sir, I'm a beginner, not able to understand. Ayush, don't worry. Yes, Malavika Agnimitra is a love story, Kumar. See, the thing is, it's a question paper discussion. So, being that I need to presume that you already know some basic information, but I'm trying to set the context for each question so that you can go there and then try to recollect whatever you have studied. But then when you attend the regular classes, tomorrow I'll be starting ancient India, and then I'll start with medieval once I finish ancient, and then go on to art and culture. So when you attend the classes thoroughly, I'll give you a broad overview of entire ancient, entire medieval, and then we'll look at the culture portions also. Then you'll be able to understand better. Yeah. Okay. Can I go to the next question? Okay. Consider the following statements regarding the Shakas. Consider the following statements regarding the Shakas. Now let us first of all understand who these Shakas were. You see, in the post-Maurya period, what is post-Maurya period? The period after the end of the Mauryas. That's called post-Maurya period. Roughly 2nd century BC to the 3rd century AD. That is your post-Maurya period, a period of 500 years. Now, what are the important developments in this area during this period? You see, if I draw a map, don't take my map seriously. I'm not good at drawing maps. So pardon me for that. But then try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. So here we have the Sungas succeeding the Mauryas, Sungas. Then we have the Kanvas who succeeded the Sungas. Shatavahanas came to rule over South India. Shatavahanas. Then in the deep south, this is called the deep south, we have the 3 Tamil dynasties: Cholas, Cheras, and the Pandyas. Right? So in the post-Maurya period, we study about Sungas, Kanvas, Shatavahanas, the Tamil kingdoms through the Sangam literature, Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas. Then we also study about the influx of foreign tribes into India. So we have 4 foreign tribes who entered India. I'll not go into the reasons as to why they came into India because this is only a paper discussion. We have the Bactrian Greeks who were the first to come. Bactrian Greeks. You see, Alexander had come. When did Alexander come? 326 BC. Alexander had come and he went back. There was a rebellion on the banks of the river Bias and he went back. Now, all the soldiers and officers who came along with Alexander did not go back. They stayed back in northern Afghanistan. They married the local women of northern Afghanistan and stayed back in northern parts of Afghanistan. And northern Afghanistan in Greek history is called Bactria. Bactria. And the Greeks who lived in this northern Afghanistan area and married the local women, and their progeny, the children born to them, are known as the Bactrian Greeks. So the first to come into India were the Bactrian Greeks, followed by the Scythians. The Scythians, also known as the Shakas. Scythians were one of the Central Asian tribes, right? And Patanjali, an ancient Indian Sanskrit grammarian, in his book called Mahabhashya, calls the Scythians as Shakas. So he was the one who called the Scythians as Shakas. So Bactrian Greeks, followed by the Scythians or Shakas. Then we have the Parthians. Parthians, they were from northern Iran, an area called Parthia. So they are called the Parthians. And then we have the Kushanas. Kushanas, They were from Central Asia, or also called the Yuchis or the Tokharians. This is a sequential order in which these foreigners came into India: Bactrian Greeks, the Scythians or the Shakas, the Parthians, and the Kushanas. Now, having come to India, they influenced our history and culture. They were foreigners, alien to this land. So they brought along with them their distinct culture and way of life and influenced our history and culture. Now, how they influenced, those details we will discuss from tomorrow when I begin the morning session. But then we'll come back here that asking you about Shakas. The first Shaka king, Moga, established Shaka power in Gandhara. Now look here. The Shakas are divided into 5 branches. They came into India at different times, and there were 5 branches of the Shakas. So which are the 5 branches of the Shakas? Look here. One branch ruled in Afghanistan, okay, at a place called Kapisa in Afghanistan. This was one branch of the Shakas. Second branch ruled the region of Gandhara. Gandhara is Kandahar in Afghanistan, but this region had Takshashila as their capital. This branch of the Shakas had Taxila or Takshashila as their capital. And the king of this branch, the branch of the Shakas which ruled Gandhara with capital Takshashila, was Moga. He is also called Mayus. Now, he is considered to be the first Shaka king, right? Then we have a third branch which ruled from Mathura in UP. Not very important, this branch. So the first 3 branches are not very important: Kapisa, Gandhara, Mathura. But the last 2 branches are very, very important. The 4th branch is the one which ruled in Madhya Pradesh with Ujjain as capital. Ujjain. And this branch of the Shakas are called the Kardamakas. The Kardamaka branch. Kardamaka branch of the Shakas. Now, who was the greatest king of the Kardamaka branch of the Shakas? Rudradaman. Rudradaman was the greatest of the Kardamaka branch of the Shakas. And this Rudradaman is the person, Rudradaman the first, is the one who issued the Junagadh rock inscription. Junagadh, also called Girnar rock inscription. And this is the first inscription in chaste Sanskrit, chaste or pure Sanskrit. And it gives us the history of the Sudarshana Lake. Sudarshana Lake was constructed during the time of Chandragupta Maurya, Sudarshana Lake. So the history of the Sudarshana Lake is contained in this particular Junagadh rock inscription. And Rudradaman was the greatest of the Kardamaka branch of the Shakas. And the 5th branch ruled from Mandsaur, present-day Mandsaur in Madhya Pradesh. And what was the name of the dynasty, that branch of the Shakas? Kshaharata branch. Kshaharata branch of the Shakas. And the greatest of the Kshaharata branch of the Shakas was Nahapana. And Nahapana was killed by the Shatavahana king, Gautami Putra Shatakarni, who took the title Kshaharata Vamsha Nirvashe Sakara, the exterminator of the Kshaharata branch of the Shakas. So this is about the Shakas in brief. We'll come back here. The first Shaka king, Moga, established Shaka power in Gandhara. That is correct. Sudarshana Lake in Kathiawar, that is Gujarat, was built by King Rudradaman. I just now discussed that. That is also right. Shakas introduced the administrative system called Satrap system. So this is also called, this is right. What is Satrap system? It is nothing but the Shakas divided the kingdom into under various military governors. I'll use a page. The font black is okay. The Shakas on white, yeah. The Shakas divided the kingdom under various military governors. Okay. These military governors were called Mahasatrapas. And below them, you have small governors called satraps. You see, It was the Greeks, the Indo-Greeks, who introduced strategos, military governorships called strategos. The Shakas introduced a satrapal system where you have a Mahasatrapa and below him many satraps. And these Mahasatrapas were given a certain area to maintain law and order, collect land revenue, etc. So this is the satrapal system introduced by the Shakas. So that is also correct. So how many of the above statements are correct? All the three are correct. Yeah. Yeah, Yasmin, yes. I will go slow. Understanding my accent, okay. Gunjan, is it true that mains questions are not coming from ancient or medieval history? Gunjan, I would say that a knowledge of ancient and medieval will help you to answer art and culture sections very easily, and in a much more, you will be able to understand art and culture section better. You cannot say that your questions can never be asked. They have asked, for example, from Indus civilization, they have asked questions. Then they've asked about Krishnadevaraya, his contribution towards literature, and he personally, how was he a great scholar? So there could be a mix of conventional history and art and culture section mixed together. So you cannot draw a clear-cut line that they cannot ask you questions. They can. Right. Now let us go to the next question. Now consider the following statements. Kushana coins depicted Hindu and Iranian gods. Now let's understand these Kushans, or Kushanas, also called Yuchis, also called Tocharians. So they were the last to come into India after the Bactrian Greeks, the Scythians or the Shakas, and the Parthians. The Kushanas were the last to come into India. Now, the greatest of the Kushana kings was, of course, Kanishka. You know that. Kanishka was the greatest of the Kushana kings. And he was known to have a Catholic outlook. Now, what is meaning of Catholic outlook? A very tolerant outlook, right? So he worshipped many gods, like, for example, Buddha, Sakyo Buddha. That is, there are so many Buddhas. 8 Buddhas are there. Yet to come Buddha is Maitreya Buddha. So he worshipped Buddha, Sakya Buddha. Then, of course, fire god, wind god, Shiva, etc. So he was known to be having a very tolerant outlook. So in his coins and also the coins of a few Kushana kings, we have depiction of both Hindu and Iranian gods. So the first statement obviously is very correct. Ashwagosha was a contemporary of Kanishka. So as you know, we have 4 Buddhist councils which took place after the death of the Buddha. The 4th council took place at Srinagar in the 1st century AD. In the 1st century AD, at Srinagar, we have the 4th Buddhist council taking place. The venue was Kundalavana Vihara, Srinagar, Kashmir. And who was the patron king? Kanishka. Kanishka was the one who was the patron king of this particular council. And in this council, Buddhism got divided into Hinayana and Mahayana, the final schism, as it is called, between Hinayana and Mahayana. Now, who was the chairman of this council? Vasumitra. Vasumitra was the chairman of this council, or president of this council, and Ashwagosha was the vice chairman, vice president or vice chairman of this council. President, vice president. So the question is, Ashwagosha was a contemporary of Kanishka? Obviously, yes. Third statement says, Mahayana Buddhism spread to Central Asia and China during the Kushana Empire. Now understand this, we have the so-called Silk Route. Starting from China, silk was developed, or rather, the Chinese developed a unique method of making silk, which they kept it a secret. And a 10,000 kilometer Silk Route came into existence in the post-Maurya period, starting from China, going through Central Asia, northwest portions of India, onwards towards Kashgar. So it was a 10,000 kilometer Silk Route. So when it passed through portions of northwest India, it was the Kushanas who controlled the Silk Route. That is, they blocked the Silk Route and extracted taxes from the silk merchants. Thus, they were controlling the Silk Route. And through this route, Mahayana Buddhism spread to other parts of the world. So, Mahayana Buddhism spread to Central Asia and China during the Kushana Empire is very much correct. Did you understand? Right? Hello? So, the thing is, you have to derive answers from certain statements. So, once you know the broad history, you apply the knowledge, what you have, and then you try to reason out and try to extract information so that you can mark the correct statement. Right? Very simple. Yeah, Garima, I said, the Kushanas control the Silk Route. And Silk Route started from China and passed through portions of Central Asia, parts of Northwest India, and onwards towards Kashgar, where the Westerners came and picked up silk of the Chinese and then took it to Europe. Now, the Mahayana form of Buddhism spread to China, and from China to Vietnam, Cambodia, and of course towards the Far East, Korea, Japan, through the Silk Route. So that's how it went. So that's what I was telling you. So how many statements are correct? Of course, all are correct. All the three are correct. Yeah. Consider the following with reference to the cultural heritage of Kerala. Cultural heritage of Kerala. Kuttiyattam. So, Kuttiyattam, Kalbelia, Mudiyattu, and Sankirtana. How many of the above sites is or are included in the list of UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage? So, intangible cultural heritage is, of course, things like religion, philosophy, language, customs, traditions, right? Handicrafts, the method of making certain handicrafts, etc. That's called intangible cultural heritage. Now, let's look here. They're asking about Kerala specifically. Consider the following with reference to the cultural heritage of Kerala. Kuttiyattam. So, Kuttiyattam is, of course, one of the traditions in Kerala, and of course, Mudiyattu. Mudiyattu again belongs to Kerala. Kalbelia is from Rajasthan. This is a dance of the Kalbelia tribe, who are basically snake charmers. And Sankirtana is nothing but the play of Krishna's legends in Manipur. So this is from Manipur. So Sankirtana is not there here. Mudiyattu traces the conflict between goddess Kali, or rather it is Durga against Darika. So this is the ritual dance called Mudiyattu. And Kuttiyattam is a Sanskrit theatre from Kerala. So, the answer is only two statements are correct. B is the correct answer. Right? So let us go to the next choice. Next question. Bit larger. Okay, Bhavana, I'll try to write larger. Consider the following statements regarding the Palas. Now, Palas, you see, they ruled for about 300 years from the 8th to the 11th century AD, right? Palas. The greatest of the Palas was, of course, Devapala. He was the greatest of the Pala dynasty. Devapala, who built the Mahabodhi temple. They patronized Vajrayana form of Buddhism. Vajrayana form of Buddhism, where you have emphasis given to Tantra, Mantra, black magic, witchcraft, invoking evil spirits, etc. That is called Vajrayana Buddhism. So the Palas were the patrons of this form of Buddhism. And they also built a number of universities. We have Dharmapala, who founded the Vikramashila University, and other universities. We'll talk about it. Statement 1. Dharmapala revived the Nalanda University and founded the Vikramashila University. So, first of all, you see who built the Nalanda University? Nalanda University was founded by Kumara Gupta. Kumara Gupta. He was a Gupta king, as you all know, and he was the one who founded the Nalanda University. And Dharmapala revived the Nalanda University and founded the Vikramashila University. That is true. So he founded the Vikramashila University and other universities like, for example, Udantapuri, Jaggadala, Paharpur, etc. So these are the other universities founded by Dharmapala. And Pala statement 2 says, Pala rulers were the great patrons of Buddhist learning and religion. That is true. They patronized Vajrayana form of Buddhism. They established a number of universities, etc. So that statement is also correct. Which one of the following is correct with respect to the above statements? Yeah, so A is correct. A is the right statement. Both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. Right. Let's go to the next question. Yeah, how many questions? We'll see, Gunjan, how many questions we can discuss. Joshobhan, this is a discussion for the question paper. The question paper, question exam, which was held on 28th of January. I cannot start medieval India suddenly like that. We'll come back here. With reference to Indian history, which one of the following was known as Nada Gaundas? Nada Gaundas. Now, this is a particular administrative terminology with particular reference to certain South Indian dynasties, particularly the Rashtrakutas. Right. Now, the Rashtrakutas, they were of Kannada origin. Rashtrakutas, greatest of the Rashtrakuta kings was Amogavarsha, Nrupatunga, also called Sarva, and they built great temples. The biggest rock cut temple in the world was built by Krishna the First of the Rashtrakutas at Ellora. Right? You know that. Now, the Rashtrakuta kingdom was divided into provinces called Rashtras under a governor called Rashtrapati. So it was divided into provinces called Rashtras under Rashtrapati. The district was called Vishaya under a Vishayapati. Then we have a tehsil, something like a taluk level, the tehsil. Tehsil called Bhukti. Bhukti or Nadu under a Nad Gauda. Nad Gaunda. And a village was under a, or a grama was under a Prabhu Gauda. A village headman. So here, Tehsil or Bhukti or Nadu was under Nadu Gaunda. Hereditary revenue officers in the Deccan, that is correct. Village accountant in Malwa is not correct. Chief of the armed forces in Bundelkhand is not correct. Officer maintaining law and order in the village is not correct. So this was hereditary revenue officers in the Deccan, who was called as Nada Gaunda. He had to maintain law and order, collect land revenue, etc. So they were hereditary revenue officers in the Deccan. Let us go to the next question. Which historical inscription found in the Western Ghats of India provides valuable insights into the socio-economic and cultural life of the Shatavahanas? Which historical inscription found in the Western Ghats, they're asking Western Ghats, provides valuable insights into the socio-economic and cultural life of the Shatavahanas? So Shatavahanas succeeded the Mauryas in the south, as I told you, Shungas, Kanmas in the north, and Shatavahanas in the south. The Shatavahanas ruled from approximately 225 BCE to about 225 AD or CE, continuously for 460 years. They ruled for about 460 years under 30 kings, under 30 Shatavahana kings. And the greatest of the Shatavahana kings was Gautami Putra Shatakarni. Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So they ruled over present regions of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. So they ruled all these areas, present regions of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, and Telangana. Now, what is the question asked? Which historical inscription provides valuable insights into the socio-economic and cultural life of the Shatavahanas? So let us look at the choices. Hathi Gumfa inscription, it is from Orissa. So this is not correct. Mahabalipuram inscription belongs to the Pallava period. Aihola inscription is of the Chalukyas of Badami. The answer is Naneghat. Naneghat or Nanghat inscription. This is an area in Maharashtra, Naneghat. So we have a Buddhist cave there in Naneghat. This is near Junnar in Maharashtra. And in a Buddhist cave, we have the statues, the idols of Simukha or Srimukha, the founder of the Shatavahana, Srimukha, Shatakarni the first, his wife Naganika, etc. So we have, and also there is an inscription there. So that is the answer. Naneghat is the answer. BC and C are different terms. Gunjan, yeah, before Common Era. Before Common Era. Earlier we used to write, BC and AD. This has Christian connotation. Before Christ and Anno Domini. Anno Domini is in the year of the Lord. So instead of writing BC and AD, we write BCE, before Common Era, or CE, instead of AD, CE, Common Era. Right, Gunjan? Right. So let us look at other questions. With reference to the medieval history of India, consider the following statements. His primary duty was to assess and supervise the revenue collection through other subordinate officials. All accounts were to be maintained by him. Daily receipts and expenditure reports were sent by him to the provincial diwan. Which of the following officers performed all the above mentioned duties? Faujdar, Amil, Bakshi, Motaseb. Now, it's very evident that if you have done Mughal history, you should be able to answer this question. You see, Akbar was the one who laid the foundation of the Mughal administrative superstructure. Akbar was the one who divided the Mughal empire into provinces. Okay, provinces were called subas. And who was the officer in charge of a province? Subedar. Sipah Salar is also called Sipah Salar. Naim or Wali. Now, the Subedar was assisted by some officials at the provincial level. You have a Diwan who was in charge of finance, a Bakshi who was in charge of the army. You have a Sadar who was in charge of religious affairs, a Qazi who was in charge of judicial affairs. Then we have a Muhtasib, censor of public morals. A Bayutat, keeper of government property, etc. So these are some of the officials who assisted the Subedar. Below the province came the district, and district was called Sarkar. And who was the official at the Sarkar level? Amil, Munsif. Amil or Munsif. Then below the district came the Taluk level, something called the Pargana, under a Shikdar, and below came the village. Right? Now, the Amil is the one who maintained law and order in the he was in charge of the revenue collection, land revenue collection, and he sent the receipts and expenditure of the district to the provincial diwan, and the provincial diwan in turn sent all the accounts and other details of revenue matters to the central diwan. So Akbar appointed all the officers of the provinces, district, and taluk. It was centralized. All the officers of the Suba, Sarkar, and Pargana were appointed directly by the central government. So let us look at the question here. His primary duty was to assess and supervise the revenue collection through other subordinate officials. So this is Amil here. Amil was the officer. B is the answer. All accounts were to be maintained by him. That is correct. Daily receipts and expenditure reports were sent by him to the provincial diwan. So I already told you it was the Amil in charge of the district. He was the revenue head of the district. Amil. Yeah. Hello. Fauzdar was the officer who acted as a check on the powers of the Subedar. The Subedar could not give capital punishment. What is capital punishment? Death sentence. So Akbar appointed checks and balances. If all the power is in the hands of one officer, he will misuse power. So therefore, he kept two officers of equal rank at the provincial level, that is Suba level, at the Sarkar level, and at the Taluk level. So he was brilliant. He was in fact copying Sher Shah Suri, the Sur dynasty king. Muhtasib is censor of public morals. You see, censor of public morals is Muslims are supposed to follow certain rules strictly according to the religion. Like, for example, pray 5 times. They're not supposed to drink, not supposed to consume narcotic substances, drugs, etc. So somebody is violating that rule. The muhtasib would punish that person, would apprehend him, arrest him, and take the required measures. Khazanadar, Khazana, Dobian, Khazana is treasury, in charge of the treasure. Khazana, Hindi mein Khazana. Akhilesh, sir, UPSC preparation is boring. Akhilesh, the thing is, you see, the syllabus is vast. You need to develop interest in the subject. Go to the basics, read the textbooks, and try to understand each page, each sentence before you go to the next page. And try to make some points, write some notes, make some points. Then it becomes interesting. Nishit, we'll see. I hope so. Questions should be done. So let us look at other questions. Consider the following pairs. Chalcolithic cultures associated with which region? So what is Chalcolithic period? Chalcolithic period is nothing but the stone copper age. Stone copper age. You see, we have Paleolithic period, Mesolithic period, Neolithic period, isn't it? Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. On what basis have historians, archaeologists divided the Stone Age into three parts: Paleolithic, Old Stone Age; Mesolithic, Middle Stone Age; Neolithic, New Stone Age, on the basis of gradual improvement in tool making technology. On the basis of gradual improvement in tool making technology, Stone Age is divided into Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. Now, Chalcolithic period is when man began to use copper along with stone. Therefore, Chalcolithic period is also called E-Neolithic period. E-Neolithic period. There are certain cultures pertaining to this particular period, which we will look at. Like, for example, we have the Banas culture. So they are saying Banas culture. What are the popular Chalcolithic cultures? Ahar culture of Rajasthan. Then we have Banas culture of Rajasthan again, correct? Jorve culture, Maharashtra. OCP culture, Ganga, Yamuna, Doab, etc. So Banas culture, Rajasthan. Jorve culture, Maharashtra. Prabhas culture, Saurashtra coast. Savalda culture, Tapi Valley. That is Gujarat, Maharashtra area. Savalda culture. So which of the pairs is correctly matched? All the four are correctly matched. That's the answer. Yeah, Nandana, tools. Tools, we're not going to those things. When we do discuss ancient India in detail, we'll talk about it. Now let us come to the next question. According to Megasthenes and later Greek writers, Indian society during the Mauryan period was divided into 7 distinct groups. Which of the following statements is incorrect? They're asking which is incorrect. Now, who was Megasthenes? He was an ambassador sent to the court of Chandragupta Maurya by Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator was one of the generals of Alexander. You know that. And once Alexander died, Seleucus Nicator claimed the Asiatic provinces of Alexander's empire as his own. That is, that part of the Asian continent which had been conquered by Alexander. That area was claimed by Seleucus Nicator as his own. Later, of course, Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus Nicator and married his daughter. Chandragupta Maurya married Helena, the daughter of Seleucus Nicator, and Seleucus Nicator sent Megasthenes as his ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya. And Megasthenes wrote a book called Indica. The original Indica has been lost, but other Greek and Roman writers who had read the Indica profusely quote from the Indica. Now, what does he say? It includes philosophers, cultivators, hunters, herdsmen, etc., and the king's counselors. So that is correct. You see, Megasthenes gave us some information in the Indica. For example, he talks about the Mauryan military administration, the city administration of Patliputra. He talks about the Mauryan society. In fact, he divides the Mauryan society on economic grounds, not on societal grounds, but on economic grounds, because he mistook occupation for caste. He mistook occupation for caste. So he gives a more of an economic classification of the Mauryan society than the social classification. In fact, he fails to mention traders and merchants. So this is correct. It includes philosophers, cultivators, hunters, and herdsmen, etc. These occupations were hereditary in nature. That is also correct. Intermarriage between these groups was allowed. No, it was definitely not allowed. It was a rigid society. So there was no intermarriages among these groups. Brahmanas and Shramanas, who belonged to the philosopher class, were exempted from tax payments. This is correct. So from ancient times, Brahmanas and Shramanas were given the privilege of not paying taxes, and that was also um, um, followed by the Mauryas. So that is correct. Let's go to the next question. Consider the following statements: tree planting and well digging, obedience to elders, generosity towards the Brahmanas, practice ceremonies and sacrifices. Which of the above tenets are preached under the principle of Dhamma? So, as you know, Dhamma was an invention of Ashoka. In Sanskrit, it is Dharma. So, what is Dhamma or Dharma? Basically, it was a uh, he was trying to say it was more of an ethical code, do's and don'ts. Um, uh, People were supposed to avoid slander, um, violence, etc., and follow truthfulness, obedience, liberality, etc. So that's what is Dhamma. And but the people got confused between Dhamma and Buddhism became popular, and Dhamma died with Ashoka. So in his Dhamma, Ashoka talks about tree planting and well digging. That is correct. Obedience to elders. That is also correct. Generosity towards Brahmanas and Shramanas. That is also right. Practice ceremonies and sacrifices. No, in Major Archaic number 1, Ashoka says avoid prohibition of animal sacrifices and festive gatherings. He prohibits animal sacrifices and festive gatherings. So here it says practice ceremonies and sacrifices. That's not correct. So he prohibits sacrifices and festive gatherings. So therefore, the fourth statement is wrong. Only 3 are correct. Now let us go to the next question. Which among the following best describes the word Veeragals in peninsular India? So Veeragal is nothing but Veera is what? Veera is hero, and Gal is stone. So these are basically hero stones. This is basically a memorial to commemorate, to celebrate the glorious feats of a hero or a warrior in war. So he might have died in that war, but then before he died, he fought like a tiger, and he won the admiration of his people. So therefore, he was celebrated. His deeds were celebrated. He might have brought victory to the king or to his clan or to his tribe. And we trace the installation of Viragals or hero stones from the Iron Age, but it became pretty popular from the 4th century before Common Era BCE up to the 18th century actually. Um, so it's a type of hero stone erected in memory of warriors who died in battle. That is correct. The rest of the choices are not correct. Viragal. So maximum number of Viragals are found in Karnataka, and the oldest Viragal is from Tamil Nadu, as old as 2,400 years. So this is the oldest Viragal in India, as old as 2,400 years, found in Tamil Nadu, and the largest Viragal is found in Karnataka. Right. So let us look at the other question. Consider the following pairs, dynasties and their location: Mokharis, Vallabhi; Maitrakas, Kanyakubja; Gaudas, Murshidabad. Now, this is a question pertaining to the post-Gupta period. Post-Gupta period. After the Gupta Empire declined, we have fragmentation of North India. North India came to be divided between various kingdoms, like, for example, the Maitrakas of Vallabhi, the Maitrakas of Vallabhi, not Kanyakubja. So they were ruled from Vallabhi in Gujarat. The Mokharis from Kanauj. In fact, we have Harsha's sister, Harshavardhana, the last great emperor of India, ancient India. His sister Rajyashri was given in marriage to Grahavarman, the king of the Mokharis, who ruled from Kanauj. Later, Harsha made Kanauj his capital. So then, of course, Gaudas. Gauda is the old name for Bengal, Gauda Desha. And Gauda Desha had Murshidabad as their capital. That is correct. So how many pairs are correctly matched? Only three. Only one is correctly matched. That is the third one. We have Chandras of Bengal, the later Guptas from Magadha ruled over Magadha with Patliputra as capital. So these are some of the dynasties which succeeded the Guptas. So this was a question from that particular part of history. Yeah. So let us look at other questions. The title Sakala Uttara Patishvara. So if you find it difficult to read such questions, such terminologies, you divide that word into two parts or two or three parts. Sakalo Tara. Sakala Uttara. See this. Sakala Uttara Patishvara. Sakala means all. Uttara is north. Patishvara is Lord. Lord of North India. Lord of entire North India. So title Sakala Uttara Patishvara was given to Harsha by whom? It was given to Harsha by the Chalukyas of Deccan. You see, we have Harshavardhana who plans to conquer South India. He had conquered almost the whole of North India. So he attacked South India and he was defeated on the banks of the river Narmada by the Chalukya king, Chalukyas of Badami. So Badami is in the present day Bagalkot district of Karnataka. Bagalkot district of Karnataka, and the Chalukyan king was a person called Pulakeshi. Pulakesi II. In Kannada, is called Immadi Pulakesi. So Pulakeshi defeated Harshavardhana, and Pulakeshi's court poet called Ravikirti. Ravikirti, his court poet, issues the Aihole inscription. Aihole was the cultural capital of the Chalukyas of Badami. There are about 70 temples here. Therefore, it's called a temple town, Aihole. So in the Aihole Prashasti or inscription, we have Ravikirti telling us that my lord, that is Pulakeshi II, defeated the lord of North India, Sakala Uttara Patishvara. So that's where the word is used, Sakala Uttara Patishvara. And Ravikirti tells us that Pulakeshi, after defeating Harsha, took the title of Parameshvara, Dakshina Parameshvara, the lord of South India. So that's how it is. Then we come to the other question. Consider the following statements. Kanyakubja was located in the Ganga Yamuna Doab. So Kanyakubja is nothing but Kanauj in Uttar Pradesh. So therefore, it was located in the Ganga Yamuna Doab is very much correct. The Pushyabhutis initially ruled from Staneshwar in Haryana. So that is true. The Pushyabhutis, also called Vardhanas. Harshavardhana was the greatest of the Pushyabhuti kings. And they ruled initially from Thaneshwar. And in the very first year of his reign, Harsha shifted his capital to Kanauj. So therefore, the second statement is right. Harsha was a patron of both Bana Bhatta and Hyunsang. That is also right. But Harsha's court poet was Bana. And Bana wrote a number of poems, kavyas like Harshacharita, Harsha is the biography of Harshavardhana, Harsha Kadambari, and Parvati Parinai. So these are the books written by Bana. And Hyun Sang, of course, writes Siyuki. So Hyun Sang was the second Chinese traveler to come to India. He, after Fahian came during the time of the Guptas, during the time of Chandragupta II, and Hyun Sang came to the time of Harshavardhana. Right. So how many statements are correct? So all the three are correct. Yeah. Now consider the following statements regarding the Delhi Sultanate. Iltutmish was known as Lak Baksh due to his generosity. This is wrong. The title Lak Baksh goes to Qutbuddin Aibak. Qutbuddin Aibak, the founder of the slave dynasty or Ilbari Turk dynasty, Qutbuddin Aibak. He was very generous. Therefore, he was called Lak Baksh and Akshar Baksh because he patronized a number of scholars. Therefore, he is also called Akshar Baksh, apart from Lak Baksh. Razia organized a trusted nobles into a group of 40 called Turkani Chahalgani. So this is again wrong. The answer is Iltutmish. Iltutmish was the one who organized his nobility into a group of 40, though they were not 40 in number. There were about 36 ministers. He was the one who picked and chose them. And they were the eyes and ears of the Sultan. So Iltutmish is the one who founded the Turkani Chahalgani. Alauddin Khalji was appointed as Arizi Mamalik. Arizi Mamalik means commander-in-chief. Now, who appointed is the question. See, Alauddin Khalji's old name was Ali Gurshasp. His real name was Ali Gurshasp. He had been appointed as the governor of Kara and Manikpur. Kara and Manikpur in Madhya Pradesh by his father-in-law, Jalaluddin Khalji. So, Jalaluddin Khalji was the founder of the Khalji dynasty. Nephew and son-in-law of Jalaluddin Khalji was Ali Gurshap. Now, later, Ali Gurshap plundered Bhilsa in Madhya Pradesh, and he gave away all the loot to Jalaluddin Khalji. So Jalaluddin Khalji was very happy. So he appointed him as commander-in-chief, that is Arizi Mamalik, and also gave him the additional charge of Awadh or Awadh in UP. So Alauddin Khalji was appointed as Arizi Mamalik is correct. So how many statements are correct? They're asking. All the three are correct. Sorry, I'm sorry. This is only one is correct. The third one is correct. The first two are wrong. Hello. So third point once again. Third point, yeah, Sridevi, I said Alauddin Khalji was appointed as Arizi Mamalik by Jalaluddin Khalji after Alauddin Khalji plundered Bhilsa, gave away the entire loot to his father-in-law. So highly happy and impressed father-in-law, Jalaluddin Khalji, gave him the additional charge of Awadh. He was already the governor of Kara and Manikpur. He was given Awadh and also made the commander-in-chief, Arizi Mamalik. Right? Rebecca, please repeat 30 and 31. Titles 30, I don't have 30 here. 31 is there. I told you already, Rebecca. Kannauj was located in the Ganga Yamuna Doab, that is right. Pushyabhuti is ruled from Staneshwar in Haryana, that is also right. Later they made Kannauj as their capital. Harsha was a patron of Bana and Hyun Sang is also right. Bana was his court poet and Hyun Sang visited India during the period of Harshavardhana. So let us go to the next question. Consider the following statements. Mongols under Tarmashirin attacked Delhi during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So Mongols were from Mongolia. Mongolia is in northern China. They were known to be plunderers and looters, plunderers and looters, Mongols. So first Mongol attack happened during the time of Iltutmish, as you all know. During the time of Iltutmish, the first Mongol attack happened. Mongols under Tarmashirin attacked Delhi during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. That is right. Sultan Nasruddin was defeated by Timur So Taimur attacked Delhi in 1398, and Nasruddin Mahmud Tughlaq was the Tughlaq king. And once Nasruddin was defeated by Taimur, it also sounded the death knell of the Tughlaq dynasty. So Sultan Nasruddin was defeated by Taimur is right. Khizr Khan laid the foundation of the Said dynasty in Delhi. That is also right. In fact, Khizr Khan was the governor of Dipalpur, the governor of Multan rather, and Khizr Khan supported Taimur in his raid on Delhi. And once Taimur was going back to Central Asia, um, uh, to Persia, you have Khizr Khan appointed by Taimur as his representative, and Khizr Khan founded the fourth dynasty known as the Said dynasty. So, how many statements are incorrect? They're asking. So, look at the tag there, incorrect. So, the none of them are incorrect. So, let us go to the next question. Consider the following statements during the later Vedic period. The practice of gifting land to Brahmanas was initiated. So you need to understand Rig Vedic period and later Vedic period. The practice of gifting land to Brahmanas was initiated. That is right. So the Brahmanas were the ones who performed various sacrifices like Ashwamedha sacrifice, Rajasuya, Agnisthoma, Vajapeya, Hiranyagarbha sacrifice, etc. And as a reward, the kings would give land, or the rich person would give land to the Brahmanas as a gift. So that is correct. Bali started to be recognized as an offering and a sacrifice. So they're asking about later Vedic period. So be very careful. Bali was a voluntary offering. It was a tax or a voluntary offering in the Rig Vedic period. Whereas it was recognized as an offering and a sacrifice in the later Vedic period. That is right. The introduction of coinage started with the symbols of Ganas embossed on the faces. Now, please understand, there was no coinage in the later Vedic period. People use Shatamana, Suvarna, and Pada. These are gold ornaments of fixed weight and value used in the later Vedic period. And in the Rig Vedic period, people use Nishka, Hiranyapindas, and Manas. These are gold ornaments again of fixed weight and value. So in the Rig Vedic period, they use Nishka, Hiranyapindas, and Manas, gold ornaments of fixed weight and value. They were not coins. And again, later Vedic period, they use Shatamana, Suvarna, Pada. Again, gold ornaments of fixed weight and value. So there were no coinage in the later Vedic period. Therefore, the third statement is wrong. They're asking how many are correct. Only 2 are correct. Yeah, Gunjan, Chengiz Khan. Yeah, Chengiz Khan was the one who attacked, who came to the outskirts of India during the time of Iltutmish, chasing the Khwarizmi prince Jalaluddin Mangbarni. Yeah, you read it. Yeah, right. So that was the first time the Mongols attacked or came to the borders of India during the time of Iltutmish. Now consider the following pairs: Mahajanapada and capital Anga, Kaushambi. Now Anga capital was Champa. So you see in the pre-Maurya period, pre-Maurya period is also called the age of second urbanization, also called Shadosha Mahajanapadas, the period of Shadosha Mahajanapadas. What is Shadosha or Shodasha, rather Shodasha? Shodasha Mahajanapadas. 16. In Sanskrit, Shodasha means 16, Maha means large, Janapada means territorial state, territorial kingdom. Okay, out of these 16, 11 were monarchies. 11 were monarchies, and the rest 5 were republics, where the king was elected because the population was less. 11 were monarchies. Now, Anga, Mahajanapada of Anga, capital was Champa, not Kaushambi. Capital was Champa. Vatsa, Champano, Kaushambi was the capital. Vatsa, Kaushambi. Chedi, Sotivati or Suktimati, that is correct. Suktimati, also called Sotivati, that is correct. Malla. Malla, I think it is Kushinagara. Kushinagara. So not Potali, so that is not correct. So Kushinagara is the answer. So only one is correct. Which are correctly matched, only one. So A is the right answer. Okay, A is the right answer. Let us come to the next question. Consider the following statements regarding Jainism. Yeah, Angaraj, Gunjan, you're right. Angaraj, Anga's king was Karna in Mahabharata, right? Yeah, he's called Angaraj in the Mahabharata serial, you know. Angaraj, Karna. Yeah, you're right. Nice correction, Gunjan. So a little bit of mythology will help you. Knowledge of mythology, your observation definitely help you. Consider the following statements regarding Jainism. Tirthankaras are manifestations of God who help the disciples to attain Kaivalya. Now, as you know, in Jainism, there are 24 Tirthankaras. Now, what is the meaning of a Tirthankara? Tirthankara is called a fjord maker. Fjord maker or bridge builder across a stream of existence. Bridge builder. Across a stream of existence. What is the meaning of that? Let us simplify it. Look here. This is the river of life. This is the river of life. We are born here. We all are born here. One day or the other, we are going to die. Isn't it? A Tirthankara is somebody who will build a bridge for you. He will build a bridge for you so that you can easily cross this life from birth till death. So that's the meaning of fjord maker. He will bridge that fjord, that gap between birth and death. Bridge builder across the stream of existence. That's the meaning of Tirthankar. And Jainism believes there are 24 Tirthankaras. Are manifestations of God who help the disciples attain Kaivalya. That is right. Kaivalya is enlightenment. Buddha called it as Nirvana. Mahavir called it as Kaivalya. Asteya is one of the vratas which pertains to speaking truth. Now let us look here. Here we have Parshvanath. Parshvanath was the 23rd Tirthankara. And he was the one who gave the first 4 principles of the Nirgrantha sect, which later became merged with Jainism. Parshva was the founder of the Nirgrantha sect. So he gave the 4 principles. Satya. What is Satya? Do not speak lie. Ahimsa. Do not commit violence. And when he says do not commit violence, it also means not only physical violence, but also mental violence. Like swearing at somebody, using bad words, not to be done. Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya. Literally means non-stealing. Actually, it means don't receive anything which is not freely given. Somebody is giving you something on his or her free volition, then you accept it. Don't ask and take. मांग के नहीं लेने का. अगर कोई कुछ on his own is giving, you take it. That's called asteya. Sometimes you called non-stealing. And aparigraha. Aparigraha is non-possession. You cannot call anything as yours. Nothing is yours. Non-possession. So Satya, Ahimsa, Asteya, Aparigraha. These are principles given by Parshva. A 5th was added by Mahavira called Brahmacharya. That is celibacy. Remain single, celibacy, Brahmachari. Now, Asteya is one of the vratas which pertains to speaking truth. So you know this. So speaking truth is Satya, not Asteya. So this is wrong. Aparigraha means abstaining from all the attachments to the senses. So non-possession, including being detached from the senses. That is also correct. So aparigraha means abstaining from all attachment to the senses is correct. So only 2. How many are incorrect? They're asking. Only 1 is incorrect. That is A. A is the answer. Clear? Hello, all of you. Can I move on? Right. With reference to the Ajivika sect, consider the following statements. Ajivikas believed in transmigration of souls. First of all, let us understand who was the founder of the Ajivika sect. founder was Makkali Goshala. Makkali Goshala, who is considered to be the third pontiff of the Ajivika sect. Pontiff means Mathadipati. Pontiff is the head of a mat. Okay, like for example, in Christianity, he's called the Pope. The Pope is the pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church. So Makkali Goshala is considered to be the third pontiff. We had two more before him, Nandavacha, Kisasom Kicha. But then let me not go into too much of details. Ajivikas, the founder was Makkali Goshala. He was a disciple of Mahavir. He accompanied Mahavir in his wanderings. Mahavira left home at the age of 30 years. He wandered for 12 years. Out of these 12 years, the first 6 years of his wandering was with Makkali Goshala. And later they had differences over two issues. One is rejuvenation of the soul, whether the soul rejuvenates itself or not. And secondly, regarding nudism, whether to wear clothes or not. So they had differences over these two issues and they parted ways. And later, Makkali Goshala or Goshala Maskari Putra became the founder of the Ajivika sect. What was the main teaching of the Ajivika sect or that of Makkali Goshala? Niyati. Niyati is predeterminism. Predeterminism, that is, everything is already determined for you. Your destiny has been decided even before you are born. Therefore, do whatever you want. That is the meaning of Niyati, predeterminism. That was his teaching. Ajivikas believed in transmigration of soul. What is transmigration of soul? When a person dies, it is the death of the physical body. The Atma or soul is permanent. It has no death. So till a person squares off his karmic debts, so somebody has done very bad things in his previous lives. So until he, um, keeps on doing good and is able to square off his karmic debts, where good and bad are 50-50, he has to keep on taking repeated births. So Ajivikas believed in transmigration of soul. That is correct. Niyati, Sangati, and Bhava govern the life of every individual. So that is also correct. Niyati is predeterminism, as you know. Sangati is, the cause and effect. If you do bad things, bad things will happen to you. Good things will happen to you. And bhava is what you accumulate from your previous births, but the bad karmas or the good karmas. So govern the life of every individual. That is right. Ajivika monk is depicted in Gandhara style of architecture. That is very right. So they are shown in various postures, particularly meditative postures. Goshala Maskari Putra founded this sect. As I told you, that is also right. So, how many are correct? They're asking. All these statements are correct. What is Yasmin 6 by 12? I said out of Mardhaman Mahavira wandered for totally 12 years. Out of 12 years of his wandering, the first 6 years he was accompanied by Goshala Maskari Putra. So, Goshala Maskari Putra joined Mahavira in his wandering for 6 years out of the 12. First. Oh, yeah. First, yeah, you're right. Ramit, yeah, I'm sorry, I have overlooked that. I can stand corrected. The first choice in 42nd question. Ramit, thanks for pointing it out. Tirthankaras are manifestations of God who help the disciples attain Kaivalya. So they are not considered to be manifestations of God. That is right. Jainism, um, you know, they are not considered to be God as such. They are considered to be superior to God. Tirthankaras actually Jina is considered to be the ultimate. So you're right. Only therefore, only one statement is correct. Only one is correct. That is how many are incorrect? Only two are incorrect. Two are correct. Two. Answer is two. B. I'm sorry for that. I stand corrected. Just a minute. Right. Only two, right? So let us go to the next question. Consider the following pairs: martial art and region. Kathi Samu, Madhya Pradesh. So here basically this is a martial art. Kathi is sword fighting actually. Katti or Kathi. So a little bit of South Indian language will help you. Kathi Samu is not from Madhya Pradesh, it is from Andhra Pradesh. Sword fighting from Andhra is called Kathi Samu. Saldu, Nicobar. So basically it is, you can call it as the Kabaddi of Nicobar. You have two teams who play this game called Saldu, followed by the Nicobarese tribes, some of the Nicobarese tribes. So something very similar to Kabaddi. So this is right. Insu Kwanwar, Mizoram. So this is again from Mizoram, that is right. Here, Insu Kanwar is nothing but you have two players. They have bamboo logs or wooden logs, and they push each other, holding the wooden log, and they are positioned themselves in a ring of 16 feet diameter, and they're supposed to hold the bamboo log under their arms and push each other out of this ring. So it is more something like a tug of war. So this is correct. So how many are correctly matched? Two are correctly matched, right? So let us go to the next question. Which book to understand modern Indian history? Neha, you should ask the modern India teacher. I would not want to comment on that. So please ask the modern history teacher, Rohit sir, and he will be able to give you all the guidance. Okay, Rebecca, that's nice. It's car. Okay. Sorry for that, Rebecca. But I'm a South Indian, so I'll not be able to get that slang. So please understand. Right. So let's go to the next question. Consider the following pairs: medieval terms and description. Amiri Akhur. Amiri Akhur. So when you read medieval Indian history, when you read the textbook, you'll get these terminologies in certain contexts, and that will help you to understand, and it will stay in your mind. You see, Amiri Akhur is master of stables. Master of stables. Master of the stables. This was a position to which, to whom Razia appointed Jamaluddin Yaqut. So there was an Abyssinian slave, a slave from Abyssinia. Abyssinia is the old name for Ethiopia. Ethiopia. And his name was Jamaluddin Yaqut. Jamaluddin Yaqut became very close to Russia, and Russia appointed him as Amiri Akhur. So she was trying to create an opposite group of nobles who will stay with her and support her. So master of ceremonies is not correct. Amiri Tuzuk. Amiri Tuzuk is master of ceremonies. A master of ceremonies. And this was a position which was given to Alauddin Khalji by his father-in-law, Jalaluddin Khalji. So Alauddin Khalji was made the master of ceremonies by his father-in-law, Jalaluddin Khalji. Muniyas, slave officers. So not slave officers, they are spies. Muniyas are spies, and Barids are spy officers. Barids are spy officers, and Muniyas are ordinary spies. So they were appointed by Alauddin Khalji to keep an eye on the market, how the markets were functioning. He established 4 markets, as you know, Alauddin Khalji. He's known for his market reforms also. And these spies, Muniyas, also kept an eye on the doings of various officials, nobles. So that is, Muniyas is not correct, slave officers. They were basically spies. Diwani Kohi, in charge of the agriculture department. So the Diwani Kohi, so here we have Muhammad bin Tughlaq established a separate department called Diwani Kohi after his experiment to raise 50% land revenue in the Ganga Yamuna Doab failed. So he established the Diwani Kohi. So that is correct. So how many are correctly matched? Only one is correctly matched. Okay, that is 47. Sri Devi, sir, are you from Karnataka? Yes, I am very much from Karnataka. So we'll go here. We'll go to the next question. Which among the following works is not authored by the king Krishnadevaraya? Is not authored. They're asking which is not authored, right? So underline the key word here. Which among the following works is not authored by the king Krishnadevaraya? So Krishnadevaraya was the greatest of the Vijayanagar kings, as you all know. He belonged to the Tuluva dynasty. Tuluva dynasty. That was the dynasty he belonged to. He was a great patron of literature, therefore called Abhinava Bhoja. Abhinava Bhoja. Classical phase of Telugu literature begins under him. Therefore, he is also called Andhra Pitamaha. For that reason, Andhra Pitamaha. Andhra Kavita Pitamaha is Peddana. Krishnadevaraya is also called Andhra Pitamaha. Abhinava Bhoja, etc. So he was also not only a great warrior, but also a patron of literature, arts, and he himself was a scholar of repute. He wrote Amukta Maladya. This Amukta Malyada. This is a Telugu work on polity, written by Krishnadevaraya. Jambavati Kalyanam. That this was written in 5 acts. That is right. Usha Parinayam is also one of the books written by him. Harikatha Saram Samu. This is a book not authored by Krishnadevaraya. It was authored by Pedana. Pedana, one of the Ashtadigajas. You have 8 elephants, literary elephants in the court of Krishnadevaraya. One was Pedana, who wrote Manucharitam and Harikatha Saram Samu in Telugu language. So Pedana was the one who wrote that, not Krishnadevaraya. Right. So Usha Parinayam is also written by Krishnadevaraya. Harikatha Saramso is not written by him. Right. So let us go to the next question. With respect to architecture of Delhi Sultanate, Alasanni Peddana, Takdis, yes, right, Alasanni Peddana, who gave the title Kannada Ramaramana to Krishnadevaraya. Okay, with respect to architecture of Delhi Sultanate, which among the following best describes the word Kufic? Now, please understand this. You see, we have the Delhi Sultanate established in 1206. It lasted till 1526. You know that. Now, the Turks, the first 4, totally 5 dynasties ruled the Delhi Sultanate. The Slave or the Ilbari Turks, the Khaljis, the Tughlaqs, the Saids, and the Lodhis. The Lodhis were Afghans, but the first 4, that is the Slave or the Ilbari Turks, the Khaljis, the Tughlaqs, and the Saids. Yeah, they were the first 4 were of Turkish race, and in Islam you cannot depict animal and human motifs. You cannot show animals, humans, etc. on the buildings. Therefore, they use different decorative elements like calligraphy. What is calligraphy? Calligraphy is, you see, the Holy Quran is written in Arabic language, and Arabic is very beautiful to look at. So some verses, some shlokas or verses were picked up from the Holy Quran and embellished or designed or written on the monuments like the mosques and the tombs, etc. So what they're asking, what is Kufic? This is a type of ornamental script used in inscriptions on buildings. So they used Kufic along with Nastaliq and Kufic. Kufic was more of angular. It was more angular in shape, the Arabic script or the calligraphy. And Nastaliq was more towards, it was used particularly with reference to Persian and the languages which it influenced, like, for example, the Ottoman Turkish language. So these are the design concepts and ornamental script used in inscriptions on buildings. That is the answer. Consider the following statements. Shesha Shayana Vishnu is depicted in Vittala temple, Hampi. That is not correct. It is the Dashavatara temple at Diogad in Uttar Pradesh. Dashavatara temple. Dashavatara is the 10 incarnations of Vishnu. It is found in Deoghar temple, UP. Virupaksha temple of Pattadakal was made in the reign of Vikramaditya II. That is correct. Vikramaditya II was the second greatest of the Badami Chalukyas. I'll go a little fast now because I have almost run out of time. I have some more questions to discuss, so I will not be writing much on the screen. Please bear with me. Okay. Arabesque, Karanshu arabesque is nothing but you have interlocking stems, plants running through the length of the building. You have stems and subsidiary stems going all around it. That's called arabesque, right? Now we'll come back here. Virupaksha temple of Pattadakal was made in the reign of Vikramaditya II. That is correct. One of the he was the second greatest of the Badami Chalukya kings, Vikramaditya II, after Pulakeshi II. And one of his wives was Loka Mahadevi, who built this Virupaksha temple at Pattadakal. We have three centers where the Chalukyas of Badami kings built temples: Aihole, Badami, and Pattadakal. Virupaksha is a form of Shiva, and we find another Virupaksha temple in Hampi in Vijayanagara kingdom. Hampi was the capital of the Vijayanagara kings. So Virupaksha temple was built by one of his queens. That is right. Pandretan temple was built during the Karkota period in Kashmir. This is right. Recently, we have the Chinar Corps of the Indian Army who revived this temple. The Karkota dynasty was the one which built this particular temple in Kashmir. So, how many statements are correct? They're asking. 2 are correct. Consider the following statements regarding Bahmani kingdom. Alauddin Bahman Shah founded the Bahmani kingdom in 1347. That is right. Hassan Gangu. So he was one of the officers under Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He rebelled against him and founded a separate kingdom. He declared himself independent and established a kingdom with Gulbarga as capital. And he took the title Abdul Muzaffar Alauddin Bahman Shah. So the Bahmani kingdom is named after him, after the title he took, Alauddin Bahman Shah. That is right. Ahmad Wali Shah shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar. That is very much right. We have Ahmad Shah. He was defeated by one of the Vijayanagar kings. Devaraya the second defeated him, and Ahmad Shah shifted the capital from Gulbarga to Bidar. So that is right. And he's called Wali because he was the disciple of a Sufi saint, Khwaja Bande Nawaz. Then Bahmani kingdom had disintegrated into 4 independent sultanates called Deccan sultanates. Not 4, in fact, it is 5. The Adil Shahis of Bijapur, the Qutub Shahis of Golconda, the Nizam Shahis of Ahmednagar, the Imad Shahis of Birar, and the Barid Shahis of Bidar. So that is the answer. So how many statements are correct? Only 2 are correct. B is the answer. Consider the following administrative aspects of Vijayanagara Empire. The Amaranayakas were military chiefs ruling specific territory under the king. So that is right. We have the Nayakas who were given lands. Anayakas were various military governors under Vijayanagara. They were given specific territory, like the Iktas of the Delhi Sultanate or the Jagirdars of the Mansabs under the Mughals. So Nayakas were given land grants called Amarams, therefore they are called Amara Nayakas. They were military governors under Vijayanagara. So that is correct. The Ayagas were a group of families appointed as village servants or functionaries. That is correct. There were 12 village functionaries. They were basically hereditary village officials. They're called village menial servants. They were 12 in number. You see, we require the services of some artisans like a barber, a blacksmith, a carpenter, a vetti, or the person who releases water to the fields, etc. So every village requires the work of these officials. There were 12 in number in medieval times, in Vijayanagara period. And Nayagars were a group of families appointed as village servants or functionaries. That is right. They were called Bara Balutas in Maharashtra. These village menial servants. Durgadan Naiks were Brahmins appointed by the king as temple in charge. Not temple in charge, they were fort in charge. So, in fact, they were they were Telugu Brahmins, the Durgadan Naiks, and they were appointed mostly to look after forts by the Vijayanagar kings. So, how many are correct? 2 are correct. B is the answer for that. Consider the following statements. Burangi reflects the history and culture of Assam. That is right. So Burangi basically talks about the history of the Ahom dynasty which ruled Assam. It is found in the Ahom language and later Assamese language, Burangis. Kamrup was the capital of the medieval Kamata kingdom. That is right. Kamrup was the capital. Very much right. And later Kamatapur. Bakhtiyar Khalji's invasion of Kamrup was defeated by King Rai Prithu. That is right. Bakhtiyar Khalji was the one who destroyed the Sena dynasty, who brought an end to the Sena dynasty. Sena dynasty had succeeded the Palas in Bengal. And Bakhtiyar Khalji wanted to conquer beyond those areas, into Burma, Tibet, etc. But King Rai Prithu of the of Kamrup or Assam, he used the knowledge of the local terrain, the rains, the heavy rains which northeast India gets even now, and of course guerrilla tactics to defeat the army of Bakhtiyar Khalji. So that is right. So all the three statements are correct. Durga means fort. Yeah, right. You're right. Durga means fort. Munna, right. Consider the following statement. Sikandar Shah built the island Zaina Lanka in the Ular Lake. It is not correct. The island called Zaina Lanka in the Ular Lake in Kashmir was built by Zain ul Abidin of Kashmir. Zain ul Abidin. He is called the Akbar of Kashmir because of his tolerant attitude. Alai Darwaza was built by Sultan Alauddin Khalji. That is correct. Alai Darwaza is the entrance gate to the Qutbi Mosque, and to the Qutub complex in Delhi. So that was built by Alauddin Khalji. That is right. Firuz Tughlaq built the Kotla Fort at Delhi. That is very much right. So two are correct. How many are correct? Only two are correct. Consider the following statements regarding medieval Islamic architecture in India. Forts built by Tughlaqs were plain, austere, thick, and had sloping walls. Sloping walls are called battar. So, you see, the Tughlaqs used grey sandstone. Okay, they used grey sandstone. Grey sandstone is very, very hard. So, it's very difficult to make designs on them. So, therefore, Tughlaq buildings are plain, austere, thick, and have sloping walls. That is right. Bricks were used instead of stones in the Bengal school of architecture. That is very much right. So, in Bengal, we have the Bangla roof, convex roofs, because it is a heavy rainfall area. So they use convex roofs as well as bricks. So that is a very right. The Surs made use of red and dark gray sand, stone and colored tiles. That is very much right. Sher Shah Suri, who built his mausoleum at Sasaram in Bihar, he uses red and gray sandstone and colored tiles to embellish or beautify his buildings. So, all the three statements are correct. How many are correct? All three are correct. C is the answer. Consider the following statements. Tuzuki Jahangiri is an important Turkish text written by Emperor Jahangir. See, look at the sentence clearly. Tuzuki Jahangiri is an important Turkish text written by Emperor Jahangir. Jahangir wrote his autobiography called Tuzuki Jahangiri. That is correct. But it is not in Turkish language, it is in Persian language. Okay, so therefore this statement automatically is wrong. Heer Ranja is a famous Persian love ballad written by Waris Shah. So Heer Ranja written by Waris Shah is correct. But Persian love ballad, no. It is Punjabi. It is written in Punjabi language. Therefore, this again is wrong. Shah Jahan commissioned the writing of a court chronicle, Padshah-nama, to Muhammad Amin Qazwini. That is right. Muhammad Amin Qazwini wrote the history of Shah Jahan of the first 10 years. The first 10 years of the rule of Shah Jahan was written by him. That is called Shah Jahan, no, that is called Padshah-nama or Badshah-nama. Okay, so this is the illustrated version of the biography written by Muhammad Amin Qazwini. What is illustrated? Where we have paintings. Okay, so certain event is mentioned of Shah Jahan's period. Let us say Shah Jahan, taming the, conquering Golconda. That's when he got the title Shah Jahan by his father, isn't it? Jahangir gave him the father Shah Jahan after he conquered Ahmednagar. I'm sorry, Ahmednagar. So that is depicted in the form of a painting. So that's called illustration. So the illustrated version of Badshah-nama, of that book is called Padshah-nama. Unillustrated version is called Shah Jahan-nama, where we don't have any paintings. That's called Shah Jahan-nama. Again written by Muhammad Amin Qazwini. Right. So how many statements are correct? They're asking. So only one is correct. A is correct. Kirti, it was not. Kirti, see, that generally, if you read the textbook, you will understand easily. I have suggested, I have given you a plan in the beginning as to how you're supposed to approach. So read your chapters thoroughly, ancient, medieval, and then come to art and culture, and then everything will be plain and simple. So here, let us go to the next question. Consider the following statements. Swami Ramananda was a contemporary of Akbar. So you need to know Akbar's period. He was born in 1542 at Amarkot, as you know, and he died in 1605. Whereas Ramananda was the first Bhakti saint of North India who lived in the 14th century. So they are contemporary. They were definitely not contemporaries. Chaitanya was a contemporary of Krishnadevaraya. So let us answer this question in a very unique manner. You see, Krishnadevaraya defeated the Gajapati king, Pratapa Rudra Gajapati. So he fought against the Orissa king Gajapati, Pratapa Rudra Gajapati, and married Pratapa Rudra Gajapati's daughter, right, Mohanangi. So Krishnadevaraya was a contemporary of Pratapa Rudra Gajapati, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was patronized by Pratapa Rudra Gajapati. In fact, Pratapa Rudra Gajapati attended the Kirtanas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So contemporary of Krishnadevaraya is very much right. Basavanna was a contemporary of Qutbuddin Aibak. Qutb al-Din Aibak. Aibak, he ruled only for 4 years, 1206 to 1210. And Basavanna was a 12th century reformer from Karnataka. So they were also contemporaries. That is right. So how many statements are correct? 2 are correct. Only 2 are correct. B is the answer. Consider the following statements regarding the Sufi tradition in India. The Bashara order obeys the Sharia rules. The Beshara Silsilas were not strictly adherents of Sharia. Dara Shikoh, the eldest son of Shah Jahan, followed Qadri Silsila. How many statements are correct? They're asking. You see, what is Sufism? Islamic mysticism is called Sufism. So Sufis were Muslim saints who led a life of simplicity and austerity. They performed they led silsilas or orders among the Sufis, 12 silsilas or orders like Chistiya, Qadriya, Naqshbandi, Firdausi, Shattari, etc. And these orders are divided into 2 categories. Bashara. What is Bashara? Those who believed in Islamic law, that is Shariat. So those who believed in Islamic law are called Bashara, and those which did not believe in Islamic law or Sharia is called Beshara. Among the Beshara schools, 2 are important. One is Chisti, and the other is Suravardi. These are the 2 popular orders. So the Bashara order obeys the Sharia rules, that is right. Beshara Silsilas were not strictly adherent to Sharia, that is also right. Dara Shikoh, the eldest son of Shah Jahan, followed Qadri Silsila, that is also right. How many are correct? All the 3 are correct. Which of the following ragas in Indian classical music is known for its association with the afternoon and is considered a time-specific raga? So raga is the basis of melody. You see, raga is the basis of melody, like tala is the basis of rhythm. And there are certain ragas which are time specific. What is the meaning of time specific? Which are sung in a particular time. You cannot sing them anytime. They are to be sung only in that particular time. Vrindavani Sarang, that is supposed to be sung in the afternoon. That is the answer for you. Bhairavi is supposed to be in the morning, Bhairavi Raga. Des is in the night, and Durga is supposed to be early part of the night. And similarly, Malkosh is midnight. So there are different types of ragas, time-specific ragas. So the answer is A, Vrindavani Sarang. That is the answer. Consider the following pairs of regional music. Music in region Lotia from Gujarat. So Lotia is from Rajasthan. So let us understand this Lotia. Women in Rajasthan, rural areas of Rajasthan, take lotas. Lotas are, vessels, lotas and kalash. So they carry lota and kalash to the ponds and lakes, I believe. They fill the lotas and kalash with water, and they decorate the vessels with flower. And they sing and come back to their houses. That's called Lotia, right? That's not from Gujarat, that's from Rajasthan. So the first thing is wrong. Laman. Laman, Goa. No, this is from Himachal Pradesh. Laman. Now, what is this Laman? Very interesting, very romantic actually. you have boys and girls, group of boys and group of girls sitting in different peaks, on the peaks of hills, mountains in Himachal Pradesh, and they sing some poems. They sing certain love poems, and the hills echo those words, right? So if the girls' side sing a few lines, through the echo it goes to the boys' side. They may not even see each other or not even know each other, and then the boys' side will reply, to the girls' phrases. That's called Laman. Basically, basically found popular in the Kulu Valley, I believe. This is from the Kulu Valley of Himachal Pradesh. Bhutha is from Kerala. Bhuta is from Kerala. Basically, it is a dance or a music to ward away ghosts and evil spirits. Um, it's also popular in parts of Karnataka. You have a movie called Kantara, which came sometime back, where they show this Bhuta Kola, Bhuta dance. Bhuta is basically evil dance, to ward off ghosts and evil spirits. So here, um, how many are correctly matched? So none are correctly matched. D is the answer for you. Consider the following statements. Kundhai is a form of string puppets in Orissa. So this is correct. Kundhai is a form of string puppet. They don't have legs, I believe. So you have a long skirt which covers the puppet. And since they have more joints, so they are more dexterous when you play the puppets. Pavakutu is a form of string puppet in Kerala. No, this is actually a glow puppet. Glow puppet, not a string puppet from Kerala. Yampuri puppets of Bihar are in the one piece and have no joints. That is right. They are rod puppets. They are rod puppets from Bihar, Yampuri. And how many statements are correct? Two are correct. So these are all, please understand, these are all factual questions like Kundai, Pavakutu. Unless you read them, you will not remember. Read and revise, make small notes, bullet notes, and try to revise them. Keep revising because the syllabus is vast and you'll be learning new things every day till the day of the exam. So revision should be part of your daily routine, right? So consider the following statements with respect to numismatic history of India. The Shatavahanas of the Deccan issued coins of lead and potin. That is right. They did not issue gold coins. Lead and potin. Potin is a coin, mixture of copper and other metals. So the Shatavahanas issued coins of lead and potin. Karshapana was widely circulated gold coins during the Mauryan times. Kashyapana was widely circulated gold coins during the Mauryan times. That is not correct. That was in the that is not correct. Then Muhammad bin Tughlaq struck coins, assuming that was Sikandar al-Sani. No, that was second Alexander. Sikandar al-Sani is the title taken by Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin Khalji is the one who took the title Sikandar al-Sani, not Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Therefore, this is not correct. So only, how many statements are correct? Only one is correct. Okay. Which of the following, I'll take a few more questions. Which of the following statements are incorrect? They're asking. Ashoka brought political unification by one dharma, one language, and one script. That is true. You see, Ashoka introduced the concept of dhamma. In most of the inscription, Ashoka uses one language. What is the language he uses? He uses Prakrit language and the Brahmi script. So throughout India, it is mostly in this language and script, Prakrit language and the Brahmi script. So therefore, the first statement is correct. In some parts of India, he uses other script and other languages. In the northwest, for example, in Kandahar, he uses bilingual Greek and Aramaic language and Greek and Aramaic script. In the west, he uses Prakrit language and Kharoshti script. Most parts of India, he uses Prakrit language and Brahmi script. Minor rock edict number 1 at Musky, Udegalam, Nittur, and Gujjara mentioned Ashoka's faith in Buddhism. Not faith in Buddhism, they mentioned the personal name of Ashoka. Musky, Udegalam, Nittur are in Karnataka. Gujjara is in Madhya Pradesh. And Musky, Udegalam, Nittur are in Karnataka. So in these four places, we find the personal name of Ashoka. Ashoka was his personal name. Piyadasi was his official name. And Devanampiya was a royal title popular during those times. Many kings had Devanampiya, not necessarily Ashoka. Piyadasi was his official name. Ashoka was his personal name. Adhyakshas regulated and controlled agriculture, trade, and commerce. That is true. We have 4 categories of central officials: Tirthas, Adhyakshas, Mahamattas, and Amatyas. So Adhyakshas mostly did economic duties. So that is right. Mauryas issued punch mark silver and copper coins, cast copper coins, and die struck coins. So that is right. So here, how many which are incorrect they're asking. So, sorry, punch mark silver and copper coins, cast copper coins, and die. Yeah, yeah, this is correct. So how many are incorrect? Mm, rather, this should be wrong. The D is the answer. Right. Let us go to the next question. Amarasimha, renowned. What was the official name of Ashoka? Piyadasi. Piyadasi was his official name. Amarasimha, renowned in the court of Chandragupta II, is credited with the compilation of Amarakosha. So this is a Sanskrit lexicon, a collection of dictionaries. And in the court of Chandragupta Maurya, Chandragupta II Vikramaditya, we had Navaratnas like Kalidasa, Amarasimha, Shenku, Betara Bhatta, Gatakarpaka, Kshipanaka, etc. The book Romaka Siddhanta in the realm of astronomy drew inspiration from Greek and Roman concepts. This is right. We have the first Greek invasion. The second Greek invasion is considered to be more important than the first. First Greek invasion was that of Alexander. Second Greek invasion is the Bactrian Greek invasion. So they were the ones who introduced date with a fixed the reckoning of date from a fixed date. Then of course they influenced astronomy. The Romaka Siddhanta is one of them. And we have Aryabhatta and Varahamihira mentioning about planets and the zodiac. They're all drawn from the Greeks. So the second statement is right. Gupta inscription from Allahabad dated 448 CE indicates that the decimal system was present in India by the early 5th century. That is right. So how many statements are correct? All the statements are correct. Yeah, that is true. I have told you that is B is incorrect. I have already told you, Sridevi, that is true. They don't mention about Ashoka's faith. They mention about his name, right? By mistake, I put the tick mark. Sorry for that. Then, which of the following statements is correct regarding Lokayata philosophy? Lokayata philosophy is also called Charvaka philosophy or Uchchedavada. Ajita Keshakambalin was the founder of the Lokayata philosophy. It advocates the religious tenets of Hinduism, Jains, Buddhists, and Jaivikas. This is not correct. It was founded by Hindu deity Guru Brihaspati. It advocates the consumption of ghee even if it entails borrowing money from others. This is correct. It rejects the materialistic philosophy, which is believed to have originated in India approximately around 600 BC. So, which of the statements are correct? So, only the C is correct. Rest are all wrong. Which of the following primary sources mention the administration of Thatta? Now, please understand, Thatta, you remember this place in the context of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. During the last years of Muhammad bin Tughlaq's reign, there was one rebel called Thagi. So, Thagi, he rebelled and he was from Gujarat. He rebelled. And he ran away towards Sindh because Muhammad bin Tughlaq was following him to kill him. So at a place called Thatta, while following Thagi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq died. Now, which of the following primary sources mentions the administration of Thatta? This is Mazhar-e Shah Jahani. That was the name. That is the one which mentions about the administration of Thatta. It says that I'm not able to immediately recall the name of the author of that book, but it says that the Tarkhans who ruled Thatta never charged more than 1/4 to 1/3. That was the maximum land revenue they charged on the people, 1/4 to 1/3, not more than that. The Tarkhans were the ones who ruled over Thatta. This information we get from this book called Mazhar-e Shah Jahani. Now consider the following pairs with respect to the churches of the Hindu Reformation movement and their theological foundation. Churches of the Hindu Reformation and theological foundation, Sri Sampradaya of Ramanuja. So, which are correctly matched. Sri Sampradaya of Ramanuja is correct. Sri Sampradaya, Ramanuja was a person who believed in Vishnu, And he says Sri, that is goddess Lakshmi, is the medium between Vishnu and the people. So Sri Sampradaya is that of Ramanuja, that is right. Brahma Sampradaya of Madhvacharya was from Karnataka, Sringeri, and he developed a form of worship called Brahma Sampradaya. So that is also right. But then here the theological foundation of Samkhya Yoga Vishisha Advaita, that is wrong. This is two. These two are wrong. And Rudra Sampradaya of Vishnu Swamin is right. Shuddha Shaiva, this is right. Rudra Sampradaya, according to Rudra Sampradaya of Vishnu Swamin, Shiva or Rudra is supposed to have conveyed the teachings which he learned from Vishnu to the mankind. That's called Rudra Sampradaya. So Shiva is supposed to be the foremost Vishnu worshipper, according to Vishnu Swamin. And this philosophy of Vishnu Swamin was carried forward by the Vallabhacharya, who founded Shuddha Advaita. So only one choice is correct. Only one is right. That is the third one. Consider the following statements regarding Sikhism. Guru Angad Dev, the third Guru, evolved a distinct script called Gurumukhi. Guru Angad, that is right. He was the second Guru of the Sikhs. He was not the son of Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak's children were not spiritually inclined. So he appointed a disciple called Lehana and gave him the name Angad. And he was the one who evolved the Gurumukhi script. That is right. Guru Ram Das compiled Guru Granth Sahib. That is not correct. Guru Arjun, the fifth Guru, compiled the Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Hargobind built Akal Takht. That is right. Hargobind was the sixth Guru, and he built a court which deals with both secular and religious matters called Akal Takht. So, two of the statements are correct. Then consider the following page with reference to the division of land during the reign of Akbar. Polaj. So here Akbar divided the land into four parts: Polaj, Parauti, Chachar, and Banjar. So under Muzaffar Khan Turbati and Raja Todarmal, experiments took place. That's called Todarmal's Bandobast or Zapti system. Land, depending upon its fertility, was divided into four categories. Polaj land, you could grow 2 to 3 crops in a year. Okay, in a year, you could grow 2 to 3 crops. Parauti had to be left fallow every one year. So fallow every 1 year. Chichar, fallow every 2 to 3 years. That is, you cultivate 1 year and leave it fallow for 2 or 3 years. And Banjar, uncultivated. So they're asking, Polaj cultivated every year is correct. Banjar cultivated, not at all cultivated. Chichar is cultivated once in 2 years. That is right. So how many statements are matched? 2 are correct. Consider the following statements with respect to the painting techniques. Fresco buono is a dry technique. So let us understand what is this fresco. Fresco is a painting done on wet plaster. Fresco is done on wet plaster. I am not able to write. Fresco is done on wet plaster. Okay. What is mural then? Mural is a painting done on a static surface. Painting done on a static surface is called mural. Painting done on a wet surface is called fresco. What is tempera then? Tempera. Tempera is done on a dry surface. Painting done on a dry surface. Now let's come to the question here. Fresco buono is a dry technique. Fresco buono, no, it is a wet technique. You see, Ajanta, we have the monks painting on the walls of the caves, walls and ceilings. What was the technique used by the monks? They will scratch the surface of the wall with some rough material. Then they used to make a plaster, a cow dung, a wheat flour, a shell powder, okay, then wheat flour, rice flour. They were all collected, made into paste, and applied on that roughened up wall. And so even when it was wet, then they'll give it a white color wash, and they'll allow it to dry. And once the plaster dried, then they used to make the drawing and then the painting. So Ajanta painting is done on a dry plaster. That's called fresco secco. Not so fresco secco is a wet technique. That's not correct. The Indian mural technique is developed as a dry technique compared to the wet technique of the West. That is correct. So only one statement is correct. I think, yeah. So this is about the discussion. I have tried to have finished whatever I had to discuss. Any doubts, any questions, please throw in a mail, and any clarifications, I'll give it through mail. Okay. So all the best. Thanks for your time. Good night. I hope it was useful. Ambika, I don't know whether I can share my mail ID. I mean, this is my first session on online, so I'm not very sure about that. Can I throw in my mail ID? Okay, I'll share my mail ID. My official mail ID is this. vijaykumar@byju's.com. Repeat the last question. I said, Rebecca, mural is a painting done on a static surface, right? Fresco is painting done on a wet plaster. Tempera is painting done on a dry surface. And to make the paint stick to the surface, initially egg white and later oil was used. That's called tempera. In Ajanta, the painting is called fresco secco because the painting was done after the plaster had dried up. Okay, fresco buono is true fresco, what you see in Rome in the Sistine Chapel, done by Michelangelo. Right? That's about it. Good night. Thank you very much. So stop.